Welcome to the 2025 General Election Meet the Candidate Interview Forum. My name is Lindsay Allen, and along with my colleagues Naomi Bouts, Javis Cornett, Hilo Hancock, and Tyrell Stevenson, we'll be your moderators for this year's Meet the Candidate series. This year's forum is presented by the Hagedon Media Group, Quicksilver Studios, and the Joint Public Policy Committee, which represents the Coeur d'Alene Regional, Hayden, Post Falls, and Rathdrum Chambers of Commerce, in partnership with the Coeur d'Alene Post Falls Press. Our Meet the Candidate series features a comprehensive lineup of local races, giving you the opportunity to hear directly from the individuals seeking to serve our communities. This year's interviews include candidates running for Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, Hayden, and Rathdrum City Councils, Coeur d'Alene and Post Falls mayoral races, Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, and Lakeland school boards. Each candidate will discuss their priorities, perspectives, and approach to the issues shaping North Idaho's future. Candidates will have 1 minute to introduce themselves, 2 minutes to answer each of 3 questions, and 1 minute for closing remarks. We hope this forum helps you cast an informed, confident vote in our upcoming elections.
Our first candidate is Woody McEvers, running for Coeur d'Alene mayor. Thank you for being here, Woody. So you are going to have 1 minute to introduce yourself, and then I will ask you 3 questions. You'll have 2 minutes to respond, and then you get to finish with a 1 minute conclusion. Okay?
Well, my name is Woody McEvers, and I have been here since 1977. I'm a restaurant guy, so I just kind of fell into this kind of stuff, just being part of the community and making people happy. You know, if you mess with their food, you fix it, you wash their dishes. And so I just got involved, and it's been interesting. Not a big college educated guy, so now in my later 70s, I'm learning from people who know what they're doing. And the city is full of good folks, and I'm fascinated by it works, because in restaurants, we are teams and we accomplish the same thing. So I'm learning that from the city, that we're out to do what's best for the folks, and we listen to what they have to say and collaborate. And it's a good vibe for me, you know, whether I'm good at it or not. It's kind of a different approach. So I'm trying to have some fun too, you know.
Thank you. Okay, first question. What do you see as the key role of the mayor?
Well, that's really interesting. I've been practicing it for like 12 months. I've been appointed as the intermediate to finish Mr. Hammond's last hurrah there. And I don't think I had the perspective of what it is when you're in City Hall. As a council person, you kind of pick and choose the fun stuff you want to do. Ride with an ambulance, ride with a snowplow driver, appreciate what the parks guys do, just kind of down and dirty with blue-collar guys. This is a little different. This is you see what downtown looks like. I'm here every day. And what inside the operation, all these people that sit at desks and computers, you never relate to them. It doesn't look exciting, but they're like the thinkers. They're the ones that make things happen and collaborate and come up with ideas for council. Council is the voting thing. I think that was the first thing I noticed is I don't get to vote anymore. I went, wow, that's different. You don't think of it that way. And all of a sudden, so I think as I get into it, if I keep going on it, is you kind of figure out how to present things to council so that they can ask questions and hopefully move forward, because they're the ones that make the decisions. I'm the rah-rah guy, keep the people happy, keep the worker bees all kind of positive and looking forward. And then the best part of it is probably going out to functions and schools, and they think you are something else. In different states, you are something else. But in Idaho, we're pretty conservative, and we try and make things work. At least that's been my experience with Coeur d'Alene. I look back on the history having done this so long, and there was a lot of coordinated efforts on council to get along with people and make things better.
Thank you. Can you describe your leadership style and explain how it would benefit city operations?
Well, it's probably different from what we've had in the past. I'm pretty much of a kumbaya guy. I like to interact with people. I like to listen to different opinions. I like to ask questions and understand. And I don't know if that style's that much different than Sandy Bloom. She did 12 years, and that was my beginning as a council person, and that seemed very collaborative. Council was in the knowledge, in the know of everything, and each cycle of a new mayor comes in, everybody does it differently. There's not like a Bible that says, here's what you do. So it's been interesting looking back on it. So I'm trying to bring back the get along, keep people unified, keep people getting along with each other, and reaching out to our citizens. They're the ones we're here for. We have to represent everybody. So that happens. Occasionally you come up with something and half the people love you and half the people hate you. And you know what? You have to follow your heart. And if you think you're doing it the right way and you check it out and you still have the diversion, the differences, you go forward. And that's I'm learning that tonight, but I won't get into that.
Well, that's a good segue into our last question. There seems to be a growing political divide between conservatives and liberals. As mayor, how would you help find the middle ground to encourage people to work together?
See, I hear that. I hear that all the time. I don't watch television. I don't watch the news. I read your paper. That's about as far as I go. And I don't see it that way. I mean, it's talky. I guess if you're online and you're talking and it gets people upset, then that's what you're talking about. But in my world, I see people getting along. I think that's what it's about. It's about working through the divisiveness. Once it starts getting divisive, it's like, oh, step back, turn it off. It's not going anywhere. Everybody's thumping and stuff. And so I was brought up different. I was brought up to see the good things in life and appreciate and keep trying and help people and get an understanding of why they're so upset. Can you help them? This is like yin and yang. You're either for or against. And I like to find happy mediums. There's compromise on both sides. That's the way I remember when I came to Idaho. That's how the legislature would work. Yeah, they were R's and D's, but it was about the community. It wasn't about them personally. And things seem to have changed a little now. But it's probably part of the internet and the phones and all that communication thing. And yeah, I don't have the answers to all this. It's just go forward, try and do good things. You're going to make mistakes and you stand to it. You take it, It's okay. It's not the end of the world, I think.
Thank you. Now it's time for your closing statement.
So I'm telling the same story over and over again. I'm here. I didn't plan on doing this. I thought I'll fill the hole, and I've done 5 terms or whatever crazy amount of time. But part of what we are, this is our community. And I didn't plan on running for mayor. And it's going to sound corny, and I've told this story many times, is I went out with the Christmas Santa Claus and rode along with Santa Claus and collected money and food and things like that. Went through neighborhoods that I had never been aware of. It was dark, so you don't know really where you are. But I was moved because, first off, it wasn't about me. I was invisible. It was about Santa. And I remember driving down streets and looking, and people opening their curtains and going, oh, my goodness, and kids running in and out, and everybody's so happy. And I remember this kid came out and didn't have anything to give, and he ran back in the house, brought out a half a box of Cheerios. He was giving away his cereal and gave it to Santa Claus. And that just, I know it sounds corny, it just moved me. I went, these are the people that we represent, write down, go to work, have nothing to do with city. Appreciate the snowplow.
Thank you, Woody.
For our next candidate, we have Dan Gukin, who is running for Coeur d'Alene mayor. Dan, you will have 1 minute to introduce yourself, and I'll ask you 3 questions, which you'll have 2 minutes each to answer. Finally, you'll have 1 minute for closing statements. Dan, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Javis. My name's Dan Gukin. I've been a Coeur d'Alene resident since 2002. I've been on the city council since 2011, and I have been asked to run for mayor almost every mayor election since that time. People have wanted me there, and I've always wanted to say, no, I'm in the council seat because otherwise I would lose my voice and I would lose my vote. But the things that have transpired over the past year, or even longer, show me that we need some leadership in City Hall. We need someone who's accountable, who's going to answer their emails, be responsive, someone who's going to take the lead and take charge and get things done. So we need to increase the communications between staff and council. That's a priority. We need to get a city policy manual established, and we need to do what we can to support small businesses and increase the opportunities for developers to do their projects without being obstructionist. I think those are my 3 goals. That's who I am. You can go to dangukin.com for all the details.
Thank you, Dan. For your first question, what do you see as the key role of the mayor?
My vision is that the mayor is not the lord of the city. As mayor, my job is to ensure that the policies set by the city council are followed by staff. Right now, we don't have a policy manual, so that's why it's one of my priorities. We need to establish a policy manual so that staff knows what council is thinking, which means they know what the public is thinking. And that way we can be responsive to the needs of the public. So my job is to represent council. In fact, I would kind of refer to myself as I am the council's representative in the city's administration. And that's really what I want to do. I don't have any grandiose plans. I don't have any, big projects that I want to do. I just want to make sure that everything's running well and smoothly, the council's informed, that we have a policy manual, and we're doing what we can to support our small businesses and maintain the charm and character of Coeur d'Alene, all that stuff. That's my job.
Thank you. For your next question, how do you describe your leadership style, and how would it benefit city operations?
So there's a lot of fear out there about that I'm going to be a tyrant or that I'm going to fire people in City Hall, and that is absolutely not why would I make my job harder? My job is to represent the council. So that's what I see my role as. My leadership style is basically to motivate the council to set those policies and tell me what they're thinking and to involve them in the process. I mean, it might shock a lot of people, but for the past few years, we have not been involved. Stuff comes to us like at tonight's council meeting, which will be in the past when you watch this. There's an item coming to us that we've never seen before. So we're going to have a bunch of questions. I want council involved in that process. I don't want to do it all myself. I want the city council to be in charge. And that's the way our government is supposed to run. Representative democracy, the republic that we have. You have the representatives who do the job. The mayor is the city executive. Mayor doesn't run the city administrator does. But I want to ensure that those policies are being followed and that the things you want done in the city are being done. That's how I'm going to do it.
Thank you. For your final question.
Oh, yes. Double jeopardy.
Yes. There seems to be a growing political divide between liberals and conservatives.
No.
As mayor, how would you help find the middle ground to encourage people to work together?
I love that question. So I would hope that at our level, at the nonpartisan level, there wasn't such a divide. Show me an example of a Republican street or a Democratic park. That's not a thing for us. We should respect all the citizens who live here, and I think we do. We should hear all their voices. We should not lend ourselves to obeying the loudest person in the room. We should do what's best for the citizens of Coeur d'Alene and leave this nonsense for the blogs and Facebook and X or Twitter, whatever they're calling it, and all the national news. Hopefully we can rise above that. But my point is that if anyone contacts me, and I don't care who they are, I'm not going to do a litmus test. I want to hear what they have to say. And if I can help them as the mayor or even as a city councilman, I will do so. I will not prejudge, and I will not bring that baggage into City Hall. I think it has no place, and it doesn't belong there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now is the time, Dan, for closing statements. As a reminder, you have 1 minute, and the time is now yours.
Thank you, Jeff. And I love the hair. I'll never be able to have hair like that. So I just wanted to get that off my chest.
Well, thank you.
Sure. So you can go to dangukin.com to watch videos and to learn more about me and how I feel about various issues, because there's a lot of issues facing the city of Coeur d'Alene. But number one is leadership. We need someone who's not afraid to take charge, not afraid to make a decision, not afraid to do what's best for the citizens of Coeur d'Alene. I think I'm that person, and I look forward to your vote on November 4th. Thank you.
Thank you for your responses, Dan. Thank you for being with us.
I'm serious about the hair.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Allen. I am a local realtor with EXP. I wanted to get involved. I wanted to do more volunteering, but I never really knew where to start. Being involved with the chamber has exposed me to so many different people and causes and nonprofits and volunteer opportunities and leadership opportunities that I would never get anywhere else. If you have a heart for service and you're looking to get involved and you want to do something bigger than you need to be here at the chamber. Come down here, come to an event, get involved, get on a committee, and give back.
Our next candidate is John Pulsifer. He's running for Coeur d'Alene mayor. Thank you for being here, John.
Thanks for having me.
So you will have 1 minute to introduce yourself. Then I'm going to ask you 3 questions. You'll have 2 minutes to respond, and then we'll end with a 1 minute closing statement. Okay?
All right. Well, my name is John Pulsifer. I've been in Coeur d'Alene for almost 20 years, or Coeur d'Alene area. Lived down in the foregrounds for the last 10 years. We have 4 boys. My wife and I have been married for 21 years. It's actually here to Coeur d'Alene that I brought her when she was my girlfriend 22 years ago to meet my parents, and where I first told her, I think I'm falling in love. And we obviously later got married, finished professional school, and then came up here and started our family. So that's a little bit about me personally. And the reason I'm running for mayor is because I feel like people are not informed enough and they're not engaged enough in our community. And that's not necessarily on them. I think that's on the leadership of the city. And there are many things that we can do to fix that. And in addition to that, probably the biggest challenge Coeur d'Alene is facing is the budget. So with a $1.8 million shortfall this year, where we have to use reserve funds, and $2 million last year, we need some help in City Hall.
First question is, what do you see as the key role of the mayor?
Yeah, so the key role of the mayor is to be the leader of the city. It's got to be somebody who's helping to set a vision, not somebody who passes laws or fixes every problem, although I think the mayor is the most important person for people to feel like they can reach out to. And one of the biggest roles is leading the staff in City Hall. I know there has to be some hiring, like I've heard the police chief may be retiring at some point. So me personally, as somebody who owns a company here in town locally, I have hired and trained many people, developed many people. So as mayor, I would be able to take that experience of leadership and guiding and developing people and hiring people and working with the city staff and the city council to get the job done that the citizens want us to do.
Okay, thank you. Second question. Can you describe your leadership style and explain how it would benefit city operations?
So my leadership style is I like to first get all the facts. I like to get input from everybody, gather all of the stakeholders, and then council together. I want to hear from the lowest person on the totem pole up to the highest, and then we decide what's best. We look at data, and then we make a decision and go from there. So as mayor, there aren't very many decisions that you could make unilaterally. There are a few things that I would do, but I'm going to work with city council and staff to get the job done. But as far as things I would do, on day one, I have to meet with the wonderful company that's hosting us today, the Hagedorn Corporation, because the Coeur d'Alene budget is not break even. It's in the red. And we need the Hagedorn Corporation to do what they've always done, which is step up for the community. If they can add a line item on their hotel bill of 2%, 3% for tourists to pay a little bit extra money and then remit that directly to the city, then tourists will also be helping to fund our streets, our parks, our first responders. And that's a big ask, right? And that's what I'm all about is new ideas, big ideas, fresh leadership. So I have 4 kids here in the community. My business is here. My employees are here. So I'm going to come up with ideas that help move the ball forward for everybody. We need tourism to work better for everybody.
Okay, thank you. And last question. There seems to be a growing political divide between conservatives and liberals. As mayor, how would you help find the middle ground to encourage people to work together?
Thank you. I love this question. This is something that is one of the reasons why I wanted to run for mayor, because I feel the divide too, and you see it every day. I feel like people are less divided when they're better informed. They trust institutions when they feel like they're getting the whole story. So the city can do a better job with that. The press can do a better job with that. And as people feel more informed and they're learning about things much before they happen, instead of they feel like at the last minute they're finding something out, they're going to trust us more. Aside from being informed, if we can engage people. So what do I mean by that? If you walk down Front Street by Sweet Lou's, there's a bench that's sitting there with wood slats, and one of the wood slats is broken. City staff have to fix that. It's a city bench. But imagine if citizens are so engaged that, I'm walking by and I see that and I call the Parks Department and say, hey, Bill, there's a bench here. My kids and I would love to fix that. Can you give me some specs and we'll fix it and replace that? And the city could have a list of things that people can do to help fix the city. And as people are engaged in that, they're going to care more about their city. They're going to take ownership. We're going to walk by that bench every day and my son will say, Dad, remember when we fixed that bench? And that's going to be amazing. So I think as people work together, those divides, right and left, it doesn't matter when we're all focusing on what's best for Coeur d'Alene. And as we focus on that and we work and serve together, there's going to be less division. And as mayor of Coeur d'Alene, I would not represent. That's one of the best things about my candidacy is I'm not for the right, not for the left. I'm for you. I'm for the citizen. So instead of reelecting what we've always had or choosing somebody who's backed by one political group, I had to ask for voters to consider voting for me. Go to bettercda.com, check out my platform, and vote for me.
Thank you, John. Now you have 1 minute for your concluding statement.
Well, City of Coeur d'Alene, I think as you consider who to vote for mayor, I want you to think about this. I am not backed by any political group or any special interests. I'm not taking donations for my campaign. I'm not even going to take the salary for mayor. I've said that from the start. I'm in this because I love the city. And I want the city to have a direction and a vision. I want us to be 4 years from now to look back and think, wow, we're so much better. We're going to be more informed. We're going to be more engaged. And we're going to be relieved of the burden that we have with property taxes a little bit because we're going to get some help from our partners here downtown and short-term rentals. So as you consider who to vote for, keep that in mind. I'm not in this for the power. I'm not in it for the money. I have a good job that I'm still going to be working part-time, but I will put in so much time to serve you as mayor. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Mm-hmm.
For our next candidate, we have Debbie Loffman, who is running for Coeur d'Alene mayor. Debbie, you'll have 1 minute to introduce yourself. Then I'll ask you 3 questions, which you'll have 2 minutes each to answer. Finally, you'll have 1 minute for a closing statement.
I'm Debbie Loffman. I am a businesswoman, and I'm running for mayor of Coeur d'Alene. I was born and raised in St. Paul, Minnesota, in a wonderful Baptist family. In my 20s, I moved to a suburb of Sacramento where I opened a tenant screening company that screened tenants for landlords. It grew to having 11 employees, and I sold 5 franchises of it in different states. Then after 10 years, I sold the whole thing, got my real estate and broker's license. I opened my own real estate and property management company that I've been running for 20 years. For the last 12 years in a row, we won Best Property Management Company in our region. That's never been done before. I have excellent people working for me, and I'm semi-retired.
Thank you so much for sharing that. For our first question, what do you see as the key role of mayor?
The mayor is executive. It's not legislative like the council. The role is leadership. The role is building a cohesive team with the various departments. It's kind of like an ambassador to the city.
Thank you. For our next question, how do you describe your leadership style and how would it benefit city operations?
In order to understand my leadership skills, you had to know my background, my business background. I work well with all kinds of people who agree with me, who disagree with me. My employees, they thought I was the best leader for them, and I made sure that they knew they were appreciated. And I can bring those skills to the office of mayor, working with the various departments.
Thank you. Final question. There seems to be a growing political divide between conservatives and liberals. As mayor, how would you help find the middle ground to encourage people to work together?
That is one of my greatest skills. Working in a property management company, you have owners and tenants and vendors, people of all different walks of life, and I had to find common ground and do it very successfully, and that is one of my skills. I can work with people who are more liberal or more conservative than me and find common ground. I have good negotiation skills.
Moving to the closing statements, as a reminder, you have 1 minute and the time is now yours.
In order to be a good leader, you have to be a good servant. And I have a ministry in Coeur d'Alene called Grandmas to the Rescue, where we find moms that are in need of some assistance. And some other volunteers and I, we go into the home, we organize, we do laundry, we clean up the kitchen, and we give the moms so much encouragement to know that they're not alone, that there's somebody here to help them. Because the strength of our families is the strength of our city, it's the strength of our state, and it's the strength of our country.
Thank you so much for your responses, and thank you so much for being with us.
On behalf of the Joint Public Policy Committee representing the Coeur d'Alene Regional, Hayden, Post Falls, and Rathdrum Chambers of Commerce, in partnership with the Hagedon Media Group, the Coeur d'Alene Post Falls Press, Lindsay, Tyrell, Javis, Hilo, and I want to thank all of the candidates for taking part in this year's Meet the Candidate series. We also extend our thanks to the production teams at Quicksilver Studios, Hagedon Media Group, and the Coeur d'Alene Press. And of course to you, the voters, for watching and learning about the individuals who wish to serve our community. Over the 2 evenings, we've listened to those who aim to lead and represent our cities and schools. And because voting is one of the most powerful rights and responsibilities we share as Americans, we encourage everyone to stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, exercise your right to vote.